It's gonna be my favorite episode.
He's choking already.
Hey, we have a saying, smoke till you choke.
Okay, yo, this is Chris Gotti Lorenzo, giving him the business. My partner, Don Dinero.
Que hola, que hola. And,
we here.
Man, this is gonna be probably my my favorite one.
I had my favorite one already with the gambling.
You know, we're going to talk about today the business of cannabis.
Yes, the legalization of cannabis.
Well, the business of cannabis has just been legalized. It's always been a business.
It's always a business.
Right? But it's kind of been legalized now, and it's had a lot of different names.
Yeah.
You know, from marijuana to weed to ganja to, right? It's got a lot of different terminologies, but I just know that if you take a hit of one of this, right, it just puts you in a different, I think it's a medicine. I think for so long they've put a stigma.
Well, you know what's weird is they just talked about, they came out with reports that cannabis actually blocks and prevents COVID, which is very, very interesting.
Which is why probably I've been dodging that bitch.
That's your
I'm like
shot?
A video game.
Is that your shot?
Every day. Hey, a few times a day. I'm the booster and everything. I think the first state that actually took a step forward to legalize marijuana, cannabis, weed was Colorado.
Let me ask you a question.
I'm listening.
How big is the legalization of cannabis just in New York, in your opinion? If you just talked about New York City, nowhere else. Like you just brought up Colorado, but if they legalize...
Well, the reason I bring up Colorado is you brought up legalization.
Yes.
And you know, anything in life, they were the first to market. When you talk about business, they were the first to legalize marijuana. And the benefits were, in less than 1 year, they were able to pay a lot of the debt they had in school. Actually, Colorado's one of the few states that has a surplus of money because of the legalization of marijuana. But because the feds wouldn't back it up, they had other challenges because it became a cash business, right? So those are the challenges that you still have today, because even though the states are legalizing it, the Federukis ain't doing that shit yet.
The feds didn't let it go.
They haven't. So that's why you're still not supposed to, you know, that's why you can't have a mail. When this becomes federal, Amazon's going to have their own weed. Everyone, you can get
Amazon
it mailed to you.
Have their own brand of
just
weed.
like they have a pharmaceutical aspect of it, right?
Apple will have weed.
Apple will have weed.
Man, they cross.
Well, how about this? We can go to 7-Eleven and buy some Bubba Kush and some vitamin water. 7-Eleven, it'll happen because just like they have cigarettes, it's like you buy a pack of backwoods in 7-Eleven, right? Legalization means now it's on, and the feds are just sitting back and seeing the numbers. It's working for Colorado. California's kicking ass. All the other states that start legalizing it, right? And then, so I think the cannabis aspect for us in our hip-hop world has always been part.
Of course.
Whether it's been legal or not.
Of course.
It's been part of that, from an artistic standpoint. Now you're saying it's got health benefits. I think it's got it.
I think it's always had health
benefits. I've got ADD to the 10th power. This helps me focus to finish things that I have to finish. You feel me? So...
Yeah. You know, I'd never seen someone with a problem with the weed let's say from a drug standpoint. It was always other drugs that was the issue. This wasn't the issue.
The only problem you have with weed is that the kids might wake up in the morning mad as hell because you ate all the Captain Crunch last night. That's the worst that could happen.
Well, I want my Captain Crunch, yo.
But imagine your grandson waking up. And Tina saying, "Who ate the Captain Crunch?"
Yeah, man. But the money, let's get into the business side of it.
The billions of dollars involved in it.
Say that again.
The billions of dollars involved in it.
So when they legalize it, where's all this? Because, from what I understand, you have to grow it. Then you have, there's laws now on how much they could grow. The growers could grow, but they can't stop a tree. That plant's going to produce X amount and more, and then what are they doing with the excess?
Well, again,
where's that going?
For example, in Jersey,
how can I get someone to talk to me about the excess from their growers?
In Jersey, well, there's always going to be a black market.
Yeah.
Right. That's why they're trying to legalize it, to be able to control the weed as much as they can and everything else. But it's like, for example, in New Jersey, I don't know about New York, but in New Jersey, they're only letting you grow in certain areas of the state to have farms.
To have farms.
Right. But they're really pushing minorities, vets, like they're really giving them the opportunity because they don't want big business.
I want to shout out a couple people that, again, basketball players. Al Harrington with Viola. I know Steven Jackson's involved with him as well. Baron Davis, Catino Mobley. They all have their own different brands or strains that they're now producing.
Yeah. I'm shouting out my man with Loud City Farms. We got the Gary Pay and the Cheetah Piss. Again, it's big business. Loud City has the farms in Oregon, but he's out here looking for farms in New York and New Jersey.
Right.
Because of the business.
The growth.
The growth, and every state that starts to legalize it eventually.
So when I spoke to some growers that manufacture, some of their challenges is, again, finding the right people to actually work the farm to grow.
Yes, that's the key.
So when you go up into some of these places, it's really the old school way, which was before it was legalized. These are the best growers.
Well, again, from the experience we have, let's say from Loud City and Torres, he hires the guys that he hires out there.
Shout out Torres at Loud City, man.
He has to get a trailer for them to live on the property.
He's in Utah, right?
He's in Oregon.
Oregon, yeah.
Loud City Farms is in Oregon, so he has a trailer. They live there. He takes good care of them. He pays them well, and these are the guys that are on top of. Because it's a 90-day process. It's like the Wild West out there too.
Trees do grow money.
They do. Money grows on trees, Papa. Let's believe that. And then they have their challenges also because and there's not enough. Sometimes if everyone's growing like anything else, the market is oversaturated. But I think my man Berner has proved to be.
Shout out Berner.
I
had a real good conversation with him while we was on tour.
Shout out Gold Toes who manages.
Shout out Gold Toes. That's
in
family.
Houston, H-Town.
But Berner, he's the one who brought me to Berner. So at the end of the day, Berner was telling me like his new strands and the things. And again, his cookies is his, right?
Cookies is his brand, but again,
huge.
He was able to brand something huge, and it comes back down to say the marketing.
It went through music.
Yes, and
he
went
would
through
sell
music.
out all his shows.
He would.
Man, I went to a couple of his shows, man, and you couldn't get in there. It was like, who's performing? And he find out it's Berner, and they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he paid his dues. And
he paid his dues. He did.
He showed also. Let's talk about the business of, and a lot of artists. Jay has been able to do it with his sports business and the other things he does, and his cognac. Berner was able to do it with cannabis. Getting back to cannabis, he's built his empire. I'm not gonna bank on it, but I'm pretty sure it's up there. He's probably made more money with cannabis than he's done with his music. I don't know. I'm going on a limb and saying absolutely, because I did do have some conversations. Okay, so there it is. So that's a great way to artists that are growing, and whether now, I mean, we're going to get into all the digital aspect of things, whether it's NFTs or not, but the cannabis business, all the new strains that are coming out. I just look, Gary Payton.
Yeah, I seen
his
the glove.
son is balling at Golden State, right? So, I mean, we seen his dad, the glove, ball out when he was with the Seattle Super, the Super
Me and the
Sonics?
glove got a lot of history. Shout out Gary, man.
Okay. So, that's dope where the cannabis business and someone like can recreate and brand, and hip-hop it comes back down to, I think the hip-hop and the culture has taken the cannabis business to the next level.
Of course.
Because it's cool to smoke weed now. You feel me? You don't have to, you know what I'm saying? So it was always cool, but now it's not, like they've really taken it to the next, Snoop Dogg took it to the next level. Wiz Khalifa's taking it to the next level, right? As far as smokers and, Snoop Dogg, everybody knows Snoop Dogg smokes, and he's on a Corona commercial.
How long before you feel that it will be legal everywhere, in all states in the United States?
Man, with New York City falling, I'm saying soon. This is the hardest state to fall.
This in California. California already fell.
They fell.
But when you come to, California is always a tough state. And again,
you're going to have states like Alabama.
It's always a blue state.
You're going to have some states, Alabama.
Are you telling me it's always a blue state or a red state? Which is the hardest states to cross?
My colors are green. So I don't know about all that. I don't necessarily pick a side. I understand that when you cross certain borders, when you cross certain,
very hard to clear.
When you cross certain borders, there are different rules in different states.
Yeah.
Right? Where there's taxes, and you live in New York, you're gonna pay New York state tax, federal, city, the corner guy, right?
Everyone gets
live in Florida, you only pay fed, right? You don't pay state tax. You live in so it all depends on where you at.
Right.
Rules change everywhere.
Yeah, and Nevada is just state tax.
I just feel like the cannabis business is growing because the hip hop culture has built it. The success of cookies has opened the eyes of big business to say, hey, wait a second.
We could get in there.
Of course. That's happened. Come on. Right now, let's talk about, we were discussing earlier, and we were saying, hey, how many people are not doing time for cannabis?
That are not doing time?
No, that are doing time.
That are still doing time.
Still doing time. Many, depending on the state, because it's not a Fed thing. Your state has to say, hey, let them out.
Yeah. We just talked about that with the gambling. All the people that is locked up for the gambling, that now gambling is legal. It's legalized. It's really crazy. Yeah. They need to start letting all of those guys go too.
Well, again, I mean, on the cannabis end, you're looking at how now big business is trying to get involved, right? And the most owners of these companies are people who you would never think would be involved in the cannabis business, are involved in the cannabis business now. I think Marlboro bought farms somewhere, and they're going to come out with the cannabis cigarette.
But they see the growth and development of it, and they want in. And it's in their wheelhouse, right? Those tobacco companies right there, it's in their wheelhouse. They have all this land. They're just going to convert the plant.
So the irony of something that was built on the backs of guys who are doing time.
Yeah.
Bottom line, I don't care what you say. Where's the foundation?
That has never changed in American history, from prohibition, from liquor.
So
all the people getting locked up for that. Then they legalized it. Same thing. It's no different. It's just they need to free the people that are in jail.
I mean, it's only justified.
Need to at least
I say free them and cut them a check. Because Berner did that. He had the guy who was doing all that time that influenced him. He did a strain for him, cut him a check. But do that, because at the end of the day,
that's hip hop.
Okay, hip hop is driving the cannabis business.
That's
anyway.
What I call. You know what I call that? I call that as nigga business. We do nigga business in hip hop.
Listen,
meaning we're gonna do things that is not corporate America. It's not looked at in that same light. We're gonna do what we want, how we want, when we want. That's fucking what I mean.
I'm gonna flip the accessory side to the cannabis business. Who made this little plastic jar? Hey, let's talk about backwards. Where would backwards be without hip hop? Without hip hop.
Without hip hop, forget about it. They owe us a check.
Whatever happened to Phillies?
They should do sponsorships.
Whatever happened to Phillies?
Phillies.
Come on, you grew up. Tell me the team didn't need a box of Phillies when they were there. You know what I'm saying? Like that was it. And what happened to them? Are they the blockbuster of the game? Like just disappeared out the face of it. You know what I'm saying? And the cannabis business is an accessory side. The bongs. The flavor in the backwoods or whatever you want, right? So there's the Dutch Master had made billions off of cannabis because they were selling it whether it was legal or not.
That's right.
Talk dirty.
You still needed it. No matter what. They was legal.
How the fuck this?
But what you putting in it wasn't legal.
Smoke shops has been around for how long?
Man. This cannabis industry, I don't see the end in it. That's the thing.
It's just getting started.
It's just starting.
So there is no end. It's just getting started. We don't know what the end is. Yeah. It's just getting started.
There's so much money inside of it.
Please, right behind it.
And
the
psychedelic world is coming. It's just getting bigger and growing. More states, more tax dollars will be generated. But they need to figure out how to give back to some of this shit.
I mean, again, I don't know about giving back. I just know the way it works. I don't know how it works in other countries, right? I know here, you have a partner.
Oh yeah, a silent partner. In America, you always have a silent partner.
You got, you know what I'm saying? They call him Uncle Sam. I don't know, but you got a partnership here.
Oh yeah, if you didn't know that, you know now.
So now that partnership, your partner, they're trying to figure out now how they eat.
How big of a partner are they?
How they eat.
No, how big of a partner
are they going to be?
Yeah, that's what they're trying to figure out.
Right. So at the end, while they're figuring it out, states are falling, and they're saying, okay, this is cool, it's working.
I told you with the sports, it was $500 million guaranteed to legalize just one company, FanDuel, in the New York State region. $500 million they had to guarantee in tax dollars.
I'm trying to find
So that's what it took to legalize, to get them legal in New York. And I'm sure cannabis is going to go, those same companies, the same growers, the same farms, Loud City, they're going to have to deal with that exact same business proposition from their silent partner in order to get legalized in all these different states. They want to just guarantee all this tax dollars so that they know how much money they're making.
I'm looking for what New Jersey's looking for, right? Because there's different tiers now, but the prices, he says, they're taxing because in Oregon, based on the prices they're asking here, are crazy. It's like $6,000 over there, and it's 50 racks over here.
Oh yeah, there's a higher premium over here.
Yeah, that you have to pay every month. I mean, every year, annually.
And they don't care. They want it.
Well, again, it's if either that or you can't be in business. So is that a way of knocking out?
It could be a way to driving out the little guys.
Okay, but then there's a minority clause involved in that too.
What do you mean?
Like it's supposed to be X amount of minorities get in.
Oh,
or they're trying to keep it that way. I don't know if it's...
Well, you have that in pretty much every business. Right now, it's funny, but I was just talking to my brother, and he's telling me how all his directors and producers in Hollywood and, you know, all these execs, they're like, it's cool to be black and a woman right now to make movies and television shows because that's what they're giving into. So, you know, that's the same thing with when you mention the minority. They have to give X amount of business to minority-owned companies.
Right, but
then when I did construction, it was the same way. The X amount of that building that was going up or that road that was being built had to go to a minority-owned business, female or black or Latin. So if you you owned that company, they would give you a percentage of that business. So the cannabis space is no different. They lobbied for that. You know, they lobbied to make sure that we're spoken for, the minority side of it is spoken for, so that all these other companies, like a Marlboro, couldn't just swallow it all up. And then we're just watching
yeah, that's what I was trying to look for, because they have those stipulations in order to help people get in that, you know, ordinarily wouldn't get into that type of business or have the opportunity to get into that type of business.
Maybe one day we'll get to a point where we don't need it, but right now we have to have it because the powers that be will block us from being part of these type of generational wealth type businesses that are coming up, because that's what this is. The cannabis industry is a generational wealth industry that you'll be able to pass to your kids, and so on.
I mean, there's a lot of health benefits, though. No one can come up with nothing negative unless, besides that Captain Crunch thing I told you, right? Like, you know, no, you can't. Like, so many health benefits with marijuana, with cannabis. That
they don't want to let it out. They don't want to tell those secrets.
But I think as they legalize it, there's marketing behind it that is telling those secrets to be able to sell. And I think the states that legalize it want you to sell as much as you can in order to be able to tax it.
Well, it's time.
It's selling.
It's time. We need to start getting our cannabis game up.
It's up. It's up.
You can't, hey, Smokey, you can't smoke it. You gotta buy it. You gotta make it. But you know, we in a good place, man. Again,
the cannabis business is the only business that you can get high on your own supply.
It's the only issue you can get high on your own supply.
Yes,
and still be all right.
Yes, yes.
Well, with that said, man, we gonna sign off over here. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, listen, I have a motto: smoke till you choke.
Smoke till you choke. We'll see y'all next time on Giving Them the Business.
Giving them the business.
All right. Oh, yeah. This is Chris Gotti Lorenzo.
This is Don Dinero.
And we're giving you the business.
Don't forget to go to our YouTube channel, share, like, comment.
And don't forget to subscribe. Wow.